and welcome to the Magic Cloud. Today, we'll be learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube. It's a very fun and engaging process, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. First, let's look at what a Rubik's Cube is made up of. We have center pieces, which are of course the center of each face. And then we have edge pieces, which consist of two colors. And then finally we have corner pieces, which connect three different colors. Next, let's go over what we'll see in an algorithm. Algorithms are used to actually solve the Rubik's Cube. Essentially, each face can be identified by one single letter. So we have the front as F, the right as R, the left as L, the back as B, up is U, and down is D. Now in an algorithm, you'll either see each letter by itself or with this little apostrophe near it. If it's by itself, that means it is clockwise. You want to move that face clockwise. If it has the sign near it, that means it is prime, and you want to move that face counterclockwise. For example, if I were to move this right side, I would say R prime would be moving it this way, counterclockwise, and just R would be moving it this way, which is clockwise. Same thing if I were going to do it to the back. B would be clockwise, B prime would be counterclockwise. On the left, L would be clockwise, like this, and L prime would be counterclockwise, like this. Now that we know the basics, we can go ahead and start solving. So I've scrambled the cube, and I want to keep the yellow centerpiece up top, and the white centerpiece has to be on the bottom. This is how we'll keep our cube as we solve. Our first step is to bring all of the white edge pieces up to the yellow centerpiece. So they should all be up top, and they should be in these 4 spots. We already have one up here, so we're going to bring the rest of them. There should be 3 more, and we're going to bring them up here. So what we're going to do is locate one. So we have this one right here, and we're going to have to move it so that it'll be able to come to its spot up here. There we go. So now we got another one right here. We're going to have to turn so that it can move up here. And for a final one, it's actually in the bottom right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and move it up to its spot. So once you got these 4 edge pieces up top around the yellow centerpiece, that task is done. Great, so now let's bring each of these white edge pieces down to the bottom, but there's a specific way we have to do that. So first, take one of the edge pieces. So let's see this one. So not only does this have white on it, but it also has red, because remember, edge pieces consist of 2 colors. So let's take, so this one has red, and so we had to match this red up with the red centerpiece. So we're just going to move this part around until we take this red edge and it's up with its red center. So once they're matching, we're going to turn it 180 degrees so that the white is on the opposite side and it's with our bottom white centerpiece. And we're going to do the same to the rest of the white edge pieces. So we have this one. Since it has green on it, we're going to match the green with the green centerpiece. And we'll turn so that the white is on the bottom now. Let's take this one. We have orange. Orange goes with the orange centerpiece, like so. And then we can turn. There we go. It's on the bottom. Final one. We have blue on this edge piece. It goes with the blue centerpiece. Let's turn 180 degrees. So now we have all 4 of the white edge pieces around our white centerpiece, and we have a white cross. Let's put that back on the bottom. Now we had to bring the rest of the white pieces down to the bottom so we can complete this whole layer. So take a white piece. So we have this bottom one we see here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna look to the color that's right next to this white piece. So next to this we have a green. And since the green's right next to it, this is the color we had to match with its centerpiece. So we're gonna turn, and when we turn, we have this green matched up with its green centerpiece and it's diagonal. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to take in an algorithm. So for this one, we'll be using our left algorithm because the white piece is on our left side when we look at it. So we have our white piece on our left side, and since it's on the left, we're gonna be doing our left algorithm. The left algorithm is the following. We have L prime, U prime, and L, which is the same as L counterclockwise, U counterclockwise, and L clockwise. Now if we look, we can see that the white piece is on the bottom. So now if we look, we have one more white piece that has come to the top. So we're going to do the same thing we had done before. We're going to look to the color that's right next to it. We have orange connected to that white. And since we have orange here, we're going to match it with the orange centerpiece. So we have our orange diagonal with the orange centerpiece. And now we see that our white part, when we look, is to the right. And we're going to be doing the right algorithm for that, which is R, U, R prime. So R, U, R prime. R clockwise, U clockwise, and R counterclockwise. We have one more white piece on the bottom. See, we no longer have any white pieces along the top. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at one of these guys on the bottom. So take a look at one bottom white piece, and you want it to face you. So once it's facing you, we know that the white is on the right side, right? So we're going to be doing the right algorithm. And this is going to actually bring it up to the top. So we're going to do R, U, R prime. So now, like I said, it's up at the top. So before we do another algorithm, I want you to make sure that your white piece at the top is not above a space on the bottom that's already white. So this is above a white spot, but we're going to move it over here because now it's directly above an available spot. You don't want it to have any white, and that way you won't intervene. So now that we have it in a safe spot, we see that it's on the right. So we're going to do a right algorithm. And we're going to do this twice. R, U, R prime. And then once again, R, U, R prime. And that brings it up to our top area where we can solve normally. So remember, green is right next to the white. We want to match that green with its green centerpiece. And white is on the right, so do a right algorithm. R, U, R prime. And it's on the bottom now. So we only have one more piece to put into place. As you can see, we have a white piece on the bottom. So as we did before, we're going to make sure it's facing us. And since the white is on the right, we're going to do our right algorithm, which is R, U, R prime, which brings it to the top. And like last time, we had to make sure that it's above an available spot that has no white. which it is. It's directly opposite. And the white is on the right, so let's do our right algorithm. R, U, R prime. And you gotta do it twice when it's on the top. Let's do it one more time. R, U, R prime. Brings it to the top, which we can solve normally, remember? So blue right here, match the blue up with its centerpiece. White is on the right. Let's do a right algorithm. R, U, R prime. And we have our entire bottom layer solved. Now let's start solving our second layer. So if we look at the top, we want to look at the edge pieces that have no yellow whatsoever. So this edge piece has yellow, this edge piece has yellow, but none of these two have any yellow. So these are the ones that we'll be using, and you want to ignore the ones with the yellow. These are the ones we'll be using when we solve. So focus on one of them. So we have this one right here. Look at the color that's on the side of the edge piece. So here we have blue on the side. Match that with the blue centerpiece, and it'll make this T shape. So once it's matched, it makes this T shape. Now we want to look at the color that's on top. So we have red on the top, and we want to find which side has red as well. So we have this side, that's the red side. This side's orange, so we won't need it. But this side, as you can see, has the red. So now for our algorithm, we're gonna first turn this top part away from the red side. Since these two are matching, we're gonna turn it away once. And since the matching red side is on the right, we're gonna do a right algorithm, which is R, U, and R prime. So we're just turning R clockwise, U clockwise, and R counterclockwise. And now our white piece is no longer on the bottom. We have it over here on the top. And since we want to bring it back down, we're just going to match the red that's with it with its red centerpiece, and we're going to solve normally. So the white is on the left, so do our left algorithm. L prime, U prime, and L. And everything is where it needs to be. So we're not done yet because we have one more edge piece that has no yellow. So if we're gonna look at the color that's on the side, we have orange on the side of the edge piece. Match that with the orange centerpiece, so we have a T that's been formed. And then now it's time to look at the color that's on top. So we have blue on top. Which side has blue? So the right has blue, as you can see. We want to ignore this green. And since now we have matching colors, so a blue top and a blue side. And we want to first turn the top away from the blue side, since that matches up with the top of the edge piece. And then since the matching blue side is on the right, we're going to do a right algorithm. R, U, R prime. Now we have to put our white piece back in place. So like we did at first, we see that the blue is right next to it. Match it up with its blue centerpiece. And we're going to put it back by doing our left algorithm since the white is on the left. L prime, U prime, and L. Now we have one more edge piece we need to solve. So we have green on the side. Match that with the green centerpiece, of course. So now we have a T. Now it's time to look at the top. We have orange. Which side has orange? So the right side has orange. And so since it's the right side with the matching color, we have to turn it away. So turn the top away. And since the matching side is on the right, we'll do our right algorithm once again. So we have R, U, R prime. And we had to put this white back where it belongs. color next to its orange, match it with its orange centerpiece, and do our left algorithm. L prime, U prime, L. Notice that we do have one more edge piece that will have to place into the correct spot, and that should be the last one. So let's put the green with the green centerpiece, and now we have something different. So if we look at the color list on top, we have red, and this time the red is on the left. So since the red is on the left, we're going to first turn the top away from that side that has the matching color, and we're going to do left algorithm since the matching side is on the left. So we'll have L prime, U prime, L. And now it's time to match our white piece back down where it belongs. So red goes with the red centerpiece. Let's do our right algorithm. R, U, R prime. And there we go. Our whole second layer is finished. When solving the second layer, sometimes what will happen is that you will have no more edge pieces on top that have no yellow. And so what you'll do is you'll find one of the misplaced edge pieces on the second layer. I have quite a few, but let's take this one, for example. So based on what side it is, in this case, it's on the right side, you're going to do the algorithm for that side. So since it's on the right, I'm going to do our right algorithm, R, U, R prime. And then you're going to have to bring that white piece back down. So we'll do the left algorithm since the white is on the left. We're going to do L prime, U prime, and L. And now when you look at the top, you will have a edge piece with no yellow that you can work with. So now we're just gonna solve as we would. So we have blue on the top. I'm gonna move the blue away from that matching side. And since the matching side is on the left, we'll do our left algorithm. L prime, U prime, L. You gotta bring this white piece back down. So we're gonna match it with match this blue that's with it to its blue centerpiece, and solve normally with the right algorithm since our white is on the right. So we're gonna do R, U, R prime. And now we were able to get an edge piece down there, and you'll just do the same method for the other edge pieces. That is, if there are no pieces on top that are available for you to use because they each have yellow on them. So you would simply just follow the same steps if that was a certain scenario you were in. Let's go on with the top layer. So I want you to look at the top face of your cube. So you'll either have a straight line like this, or you may have an L shape that's at 9 o'clock in the corner of your cube. So there are different algorithms at this point for each of them, and I'm going to go through them one by one. So first, let's go over the case if you have this straight line in the middle. So your algorithm for this is the following. You have F, R, U, R prime, U prime, and F prime. This leads us to where we would do the next step, but now let's go over what we would do if we had this scenario. So if we had the L shape, we would do F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F. So now we do have similar endings if we were to do the specific algorithm for each of the scenarios. Let's go ahead and continue on with this cube. So as you can see, I have a cross and there are two corners that have yellow, but I am just going to go ahead and move a yellow square into this left corner. So you want to put a yellow square in the left corner closest to you. So it should be like this. If we're going to hold it like this, you want to make sure there's a yellow square when you get to this point right there. Now we can do our algorithm. So we have R, U, R prime, U, R, U twice, and R prime. Once again, that's R, U, R prime, U, R, U twice, and R prime. We have the same cross structure on our cube once again, and my yellow square that I had to keep in the left corner closest to me is already there, and we're ready to do our algorithm once again. So we have R, U, R prime, U, R, U twice, and R prime. And there we go. I'm now treated with a different type of structure. I have this fish structure now. This, you have to position this in a different way. You no longer need the yellow square in the left corner, but you want to make sure the yellow corner on the top face is facing towards the bottom left. So the fish should be facing this way. And this is the way you want to position it if you have this particular structure. Once it's like this, we can do our algorithm, which is the same. We have R, U, R prime, U, R, U twice, and R prime. There we go. We have our top face all done. So in my cube, I have these two corner pieces, two red corner pieces, and I want to match those corners up with their face. So now both the red corners are with the red face, and not only those corners, but even the colors next to them. This green corner is with its green face, and notice that this blue corner is with its blue face. So both these corner pieces right here are matched up in the spots that they have to be. But not all of you will be able to do this, where you'll have these two corners already matched up with their face. So this face is almost completely solved. But what your cube may look like is like this. You may not have any corners that you can match up with their face. Notice that unlike this one, they're not two identical corners that you can match up with their face, right? So in this case, you'll have to do a diagonal matchup. So here, notice that this green corner is with its green, and this orange corner is with its orange. So their faces are matched up with the corner. And here we have the blue matched up with the blue, and the red matched up with the red. So both these corners, this one and this one, they're diagonal from each other, and they are in the right spot where they're all matched up. So these are two different ways that they can be matched up, but when you're looking for matchups, just make sure that you have two corner pieces in the right places. Continuing on with this cube, we now have an algorithm. So if you have this, just keep it in the back. So keep it to the back. And if you did have this, just make sure you're keeping it where they're diagonal this way. The matched corner pieces are diagonal this way. Just hold it like that. Or hold it like this, where it's in the back. So no matter what way they're matched, if you hold it and position it the right way, then you'll be able to move on and do the next algorithm. So let's go ahead and see what the algorithm is. We have R prime, F, R prime, the back twice, so B twice, R, F prime, R prime, B twice, and R twice. We once again have two possible scenarios. So I'm just gonna go ahead and match my cube up, make sure the corners are all matched up, like so. But notice here, each of my edge pieces are mismatched. They're not where they need to be. But here, as you can see, I do have one side that's completely solved. And these edge pieces just need to be placed in the correct spots. So no matter what scenario you have, I'm going to be demonstrating which way you'll have to solve them for each scenario. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. First, I want you to identify which way your edge pieces have to move in order for them to be on the correct faces. So here, I know this red piece has to go over here for this place to be complete. This orange has to go all the way around this green part and over here for this face to be complete. This blue has to come here for this face to be complete. So overall, my pieces have to move in a counterclockwise direction for all the edge pieces to be in the correct places. Please keep that in mind as we do our algorithm. So we have, for our algorithm, we have F twice, U prime or U, depending on which way your pieces are moving. U prime if it was counterclockwise, or U if it was clockwise. Mine were moving counterclockwise, so let's do U prime. And then L and R prime, which is basically bringing these left and right parts down. We have F twice once again. Now our left and right parts come up with L prime and R. And then, like we did at first, we have U prime or U. You want to make sure you do the same thing. So mine were moving counterclockwise, so let's do U prime. And then F twice. So I've solved the cube. Now let's do the next scenario. Unlike what we did on our last scenario, we won't be able to figure out which way our pieces are moving. So we won't be able to tell which way our edge pieces have to move to fix into place. But when it comes time in the algorithm, when we have to choose a direction counterclockwise or clockwise, I will tell you what you have to do. So first, let's do the algorithm. So we have F twice. Doesn't matter which way you're doing this, but you just want to hold it. So we've done F twice. And then we have U prime or U. Since we're in this scenario, it doesn't matter what you do this time, but in the second part, in the algorithm, when we do U prime or U once again, just stick with the same direction. So I'm going to go with U this time. And then we have our left and right parts coming down. We have L and R prime, F twice. And now we're bringing our left and right parts up, L prime and R. And then U prime or U, whatever you did the first time. So I did U. And we can do F twice. So the same algorithm. And now I have one side that's completely solved. And this is the time when we'll be able to figure out which way our edge pieces are moving, and we'll be able to solve as we did in the first scenario. Let's go ahead and do that. So first, we see that our edge pieces have to move in a clockwise direction since the screen has to move here. This red has to move here, and this orange has to move all the way around here for the faces to be complete. So they're moving in a clockwise direction. So let's do the algorithm. We have F twice. And then since they're moving clockwise, we'll do U instead of U prime. And then we have left and right parts coming down with L and R prime. F twice. Left and right parts come up with L prime and R. U prime or U, we did U, so we're gonna do U again. And then we have F twice. We have solved the Rubik's Cube. So there you go, we've successfully solved the Rubik's Cube. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope it was very enjoyable and you loved learning how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and give this video a like if you found it helpful. Goodbye.